Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. It's very nice to see everyone today. Um, this is okay. I'm going to present, share with you my slide. Okay, can you see my slides now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for joining today's meeting. I would like to appreciate Chris and Carol because I just called them this morning and they are even very early in this call. Thank you so much for both of you. So we go first with the house rules. May we request everyone to mute your microphone if you are not speaking so that we will not be hearing unnecessary noise. And you can use the chat box if you have a question or you want to speak, and unmute that only when you are speaking. The online meeting is being recorded, so you can also share this and you can also view this recording from our YouTube channel. And we will also upload this into our Facebook. Actually, we have only one objective. Sorry, I should cut the S. We only have one objective here is to identify the risk mitigation measures for access co-ops. We are not saying that the access co-ops are not safe and sound institutions, but because of the pandemic, your organization turned out to be a little bit bearing the risk and the impacts of the pandemic right now. In fact, particularly, we are concerned about the delinquency. We are very comfortable because the Access TACOS has financial cushion. You have the buffer in times of crisis like this, and I am referring to net institutional capital. What we are worried about is those cooperatives who do not have institutional capital according to the standards, because they would be feeling the impacts of the COVID, because definitely the revenue will decrease and they will not be able to make loans and they will not be able to collect the loans from the members. But in the Access SACOs, the way we perceive is that we need to take care of the loan portfolio right now. I heard that you do not have a problem with cash flow. Actually, you are still excess in liquidity, but the thing is that we need to take care of the lending and the collection of the loan. So this is what we want to explain today. Okay, so actually I will have a very brief introduction of the impacts and responses of credit unions to pandemic, but I am not going to be explaining this in detail. It's only an overview. But if this group wanted to have the detailed presentation on the impacts and responses of credit unions to pandemic, we can have another session next week if you wish to. Actually, we prepared a business solution called, in the same title, it's a business solution number 27. We are going to explain this to supporter members of ACU and also to the development educators next week, because we want them to participate. The reason why we wrote this business solution is that probably members of credit unions know that there is impact, but they are not going deeper to the impacts to their operation. And then the next one will be the access audit renewal process. And then at the end, we will open for question and answers. Okay. I'll give you an overview of the impact of COVID-19 to credit unions. We categorize it to three. I think the most important is the impact to the members, because whatever happened to your members, it will definitely be affecting the operations of credit unions. In countries where, I think in the Philippines particularly, how do you call, matitigas ang ulo ng ating mga tao. We are not following the rules. So there is a very big risk that the people will be infected, and then they will be getting sick. We know now that during the lockdown, many people have lost jobs, and then the ability to pay of the members are affected. Maybe members will be losing their assets. They are unable to access financial services because if the credit union, if the cooperative has no digital channels, they would not be able to pay their loans even they have money. This is an experience that some of our Nepalese co-ops shared to us. Their members have some money to pay to the credit union, but because of the lockdown, they cannot bring that money to the credit union. The credit union also stopped their operation. The credit union also closed down. The collectors are not going to house, and so the money is still there with the members, and then they cannot pay because there is no digital channels to pay that loan. The most important thing that we are concerned about is that our members may not have or really do not have an emergency savings. Some of you have attended our 360 degrees financial literacy, and the rule of thumb of the financial advisors or professional financial advisors or counselors is saying that we need to have at least 6 months emergency savings, 6 months equivalent to family expenses for the 6 months for emergency savings, so that whenever this crisis happens, we do not know you are okay because you would be able to manage your basic needs because you have that emergency savings. The sad thing is that it may be members do not have, and maybe our employees also do not have this. So then when I go to the employees, this is going to be a problem for our employees. So those people who do not have that emergency savings rely on the mercy of the government, rely on the mercy of, generous people for them to eat on a daily basis during the lockdown. Okay, so whenever you do not have emergency savings, so it's also very dangerous if they get sick. Another one is that, when you talk about members, we also look about the health, because those people with a very good immune system has less risk to this pandemic. Now, I think in our credit unions, we also need to look at that. We are not, medical institution, but at least we can, during our membership or ownership meetings at the credit union or at your cooperative, we should also incorporate health education for the members. That I think maybe you are doing it now, but I think we need to emphasize more. That is the new normal today. Okay, with respect to employees, the co-ops are not really very stable. Their employees will definitely feel job insecurity and low morale. The work from home also poses a challenge, because when you are at home, you really need to set up an office environment so that they would be productive. So there are so many disturbances at home, so we need to ensure and we need to have a policy on how this work from home really works effectively, and also the health protection. Right. Okay. Regarding the institution, I do not know. You can share with me later whether our cooperatives really have that disaster preparedness or business continuity plan. The business continuity plan is prepared in a situation where there is a disaster, because we know exactly how to normalize and to mitigate risk with that business continuity plan. And so we would like our access co-ops to also have the business continuity plan. Maybe you already have. So that is what we want to see during the accreditation. Okay, there will be also a legal compliance. It's good that in the Philippines, the regulator has postponed, has given the cooperatives regulatory relief on the holding of the annual general assemblies and also the submission of the reports. I am not sure about the external auditing, whether the regulator has also specified what to follow in terms of the external audit of the cooperatives, because it's not going to happen physically. I'm sure that because external audit should be really physical examination of your financial statements, because they have to they have to support their audit report. Okay. So that is one. Digital channels I have already mentioned, and we are going to talk about the portfolio quality, because we are granting accreditation for safety and soundness of credit unions. We know that the immediate impact is that the portfolio quality, but we also recognize this is temporary. This is not what you expected, and this is not something that you want to happen. But there will be a decrease in the quality of loan portfolio. What is important is we know how to mitigate that. That is what we want to explain for the access SACOs. And savings and share mobilization will decrease. In institutional capital, I hope that this institutional capital will not be affected because of this for our two co-ops, San Jose del Monte and Tagum. And I think that's all I want to share with you. We have a complete document of this. When you go through all these impacts and you identify the risk in your organization, and you also identify how do you manage it, or your response or your mitigation, in fact, that is already business continuity plan. Okay, so I'll stop here and I will give to Conranjit to explain about how do we proceed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lenny. Very good morning to everyone. How are you? I hope everybody is safe and sound. Let's start with that. We never expected such a situation, but also we need to understand it's not going to go away very quickly. Based on the international WHO certain guidelines, it will take at least another 2 to 3 years to overcome this situation. So due to that, we need to manage our situation. We all understand access is ensuring for high quality portfolio is the key issue. There was a kind of dialogue and asking to lower grading and our standards. We review all the access level and balance scorecard, basic concern. It's not that's the right way. but we like to see everyone how we can to mitigate very special situation. I think I have sent a letter to the everyone ACU guidelines along with the video. Have you received everyone? I hope. I am going to repeat, and Ms. Lenny will put into the screen also whatever the major point. So then easy to understand, and later on we will have a quick review and we will able to discuss anything you are concerned. As Lenny said, we like to see very specifically who really affected COVID-19 because lockdown, shutdown, it has been because different country has a different approach, and based on that, daily affected for their day-to-day business. So now we need, it's not the way I will see, it's not the giving the grace to the everyone, and it is has to be measuring. That is what we ask you to review your portfolio, and we have prepared the template, and it also circulated very specifically who has affected ability to pay for the members. I think that's what we want to ask you. So that means you will review one of your team member, will review every individual members, so you can easily see the member has paid regularly on time, and due to March, April, May, maybe it's June, may not able to pay, and they can see the amount of exercise and the number of people. And then you will able to see what would be the amount you will carry for as a delinquent and probable delinquents in the future. So then we like to see that probable risk, considering we are not going to write off, we are not going to the charge off. Look at what would be the percentage from your institutional capital, how big. It is 2% of your total institutional capital or 1% of the total. This is for you to understand how much you're strong to affordable to and carry forward, because we are financial cooperative. At the same time, we have to give the guarantee for our members, depositors. That's also very important part. As we discussed, we also to maintain our business. So we have to look at our portfolio based on that. Members need a new loan to start their economic activity. Members need their withdraw the savings, and you have to look at the certain liquidity ratio might be not the regular ratio and might be a bit higher considering this environment. So that's what we ask you to, every SACCOs or cooperative need to prepare 6 months. Your special cash flow analysis is required. Not only identifying the ability to pay, and the credit union has to go to negotiating with them, and again how you going to get back monetariums, and whether based on the existing banking sector you have to follow up and renegotiating, and then what kind of non-financial services you should offer for specific group. I think that will be additional work for the cooperative society, the people. I don't know how you really going to do electronic communication. So every members to have a database correcting all the email address, and maybe you can create your website or your YouTube groups or Facebook kind of group of people and chatting and negotiating. I think more important to keep in close communication and close to everybody, and you are not hunting to collect the money. Show your empathy to your members, and to understand you have to use your general understanding and your sensitivity, how you are concerned your members, not to collecting the money. I think that should be your notion, then able to get into the people to better understanding. We like the federation to ask for them to submit all the document, but ACU website is available. Kindly, we will give to you the guidelines. You can go to our website. There is access, entering the data. There are 3 levels. First, you have to create an account for cooperative, your name. But it can be used by many users from your own cooperative. But every user need to have their own username and the password. So it will come to Accu. Accu will be activate. It's not automatically. Once you register, that's come to here, we will approve, and then you will able to submit. Then you are submitting quarterly basis financial data. Then we will not going to have a physical audit for this year. We will defer for the physical audit for the Access brand. So then we'll able to look in how you will continue the same Access brand rating to at least another 1 year. This is how Accu see in during this period to keep your highest quality performance in your organization and build the trust of the community. I think in nutshell, this is how we want to have a very clear, and there are 3 people joining. One is NATCO and PHCCO technical team, and Access directly beneficiary cooperative, and I saw that some of the other people also joining. Sorry, I asked that John Clifford. I think I did not really understand. That is what I asked. Who are you? Then you identify yourself, because these are in-house our communication. We are monitoring this our future, our educational platform, communication platform. We like to see to know people who are coming. If you are going to give the link to anyone, other than our original dissemination, please identify ourselves. Otherwise, it will be a little bit embarrassing to the people. We are monitoring. It's not public webinar. This is exclusively only for member service webinar. So please let us know anyone is a benefit for this kind of dialogue. Please let us know in advance, so we have we could include them. So with that, Lenny, I will conclude and open for the discussion. We have a chat box, so kindly put into the any your questions, and Ms. Lenny and me, and you are not only speaker, you also can share your concern. So we had a 2 webinar with the Nepal groups, and they agreed to all these indicators they have agreed, and we are going to have another webinar, how to prepare our business continuity plan. So maybe probably next week, that will be useful for the credit union, not only the CEO, maybe HR accountant, maybe a business development manager, or chief operating officer, maybe 3. We would like to have to introduce the template for the business continuity plan. Thank you so much. Marami salamat.
Would you want to go through the guidelines before we open for question and answers? Can everybody see my screen? Everybody can see my screen? Yes. Can you see my screen? Glenn, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just want to go through. Okay, considering that the purpose of the access is the safety and soundness of credit unions, this was a question of Sharon. We do not see any reason for adjusting the standards due to the impacts of COVID-19. What we actually propose and what we actually suggest is that we need to identify the impacts of the pandemic to San Jose del Monte and Tagum Cooperative, and we need to be very clear what kind of mitigation, because the impacts are the risk, and identify the consequences. When we actually identify the risk, we should be able to quantify it. We should be able to identify the consequence, and we should be able to identify the gravity, whether it's high, whether it's medium, whether it's low. And since this is temporary, the credit unions should be able to identify and to prepare an action plan, not only to prepare an action plan, but to implement mitigation risk measures. And that risk mitigation measures are the reason or the basis of judgment of the safety and soundness and excellence in service related to access. So if that would be satisfied by our 2 access SACOs, the second paragraph will be satisfied by our access SACOs, then we will allow them to continue the accreditation until next year. Okay, below are the guidelines for the credit unions. Number 1, we will definitely defer the field audit for 2020, but however, our co-ops will be required to submit quarterly interim financial statements, particularly March, because the impact started in March, and June, September, and December, and prepare the financial perspective self-rating. We want to monitor how your finances, particularly the impact of the decrease of the quality of loan portfolio to your institutional capital. Number 2 is submit to ACU and to their respective federation the actions that they have taken on the last renewal audit on or before July 6th. So, there were recommendations by the auditors last year, so we just want to monitor what has been the progress for the implementation of it. This is important. Number 3 is to submit your business continuity plan. Of course, inside the business continuity plan is also the risk register or risk identification and mitigation process. The first bullet is very important. Members' ability to pay. The risk register should be supported with the scenario analysis on the members and amount of loans with probability of going delinquent, because the ability to pay of the members have been impacted due to the COVID-19. I want to put this on the slide so that you will understand this. Yeah. This is the members' ability to pay. It means that the schedule that we will prepare, it's not only, I think this is the right thing to do. It's not only because of accreditation. I think all the co-ops should prepare this to have a scenario analysis, because you granted the loans to the members who are daily wage earners. So the daily wage earners, when there is no job, no income, no salary. So definitely that member with a loan who has a loan with you cannot pay the loan. Entrepreneurs here, this one, the second one, they definitely cannot pay if the business is closed down. Farmers and agribusiness. I heard a lot of things in the Philippines that, like for example, in Baguio, I do not know whether it happened to you. Some of the farmers cannot market their products, and there's a lot of cauliflowers and broccoli that decayed, and they just throw it because they cannot sell this and they cannot transport this to the market, whether you have that kind of member with you. Okay, another one, doorstep service was stopped, particularly in Nepal. I do not know whether this happened in Philippines. The money is still with them, but they cannot pay to the credit union because there's no digital channels. the ability of the members to pay also decrease because the cost of basic commodities increase. So maybe did not happen in Philippines, but there would be tendency if there are cases like that. One thing is sure is that every family increase their expenses because right now every family need to have a disinfectant. Everybody need to wear mask, and that is additional cost that we never paid before. Okay, so in short, we need to have an analysis. We need to identify who are these members affected. We need to project how many months they cannot pay. And then what would be our mitigation? Maybe some of your co-ops, I heard the mitigation will be give them moratorium. Yes, even if we give them moratorium, that is still delinquent according to the contract. But because of this situation, probably we can renegotiate the loan, and we can sign another loan contract, and then we will forgive them for during the time that they lost their job. This is for humanitarian reason, and this is also for practical reason, because definitely this is something that nobody expect that will happen. But it does not stop there, because we need to also counsel the member, and we also need to have other mitigation other than just renegotiating the loan with you. So yeah, I hope that you get my point on that. Okay, we'll stop that. Then, when you identify all the loans that have been affected by COVID, okay, we are going to project, looking at the standard provisioning. We are going to look at what is the impact to our institutional capital. So based on the portfolio at risk assessment projection, the credit union need to project the impact to the net institutional capital should standard provisioning is applied. Okay. And the third is ability to meet liquidity requirements. There will be a liquidity assessment should be presented at least for the next 6 months. Okay, number 4, submit the risk mitigation measures addressing the risk identified. So I think we have already explained this. Like, I explained moratoriums, negotiation of loans, and non-financial services. Yeah, this is important. Non-financial services to help members return to their livelihood. This is actually very interesting, and this is actually what we wanted to hear from our access samples, because renegotiation of the loans will not actually will help the members temporarily, but this one will help the members in the long term. Okay. If you want to have another session for this, I think you can also join in our webinar on how to establish business development services to your credit union, because that would be part of the non-financial services. And of course, Mr. Ranjit already explained, we need to upload, we will request you to upload the data to AccuAccess monitoring site in our website. All right, so I would stop there, and thank you so much. Okay, now is open for questions and answers. So what I said is this is not only for the purpose of accreditation. So I suppose that this has to be something that all our co-ops should be doing. It's good that all our access SACOs have enough institutional capital. They meet the standards. So we are worried about those co-ops that does not have net institutional capital like yours. Okay. Yes, now open now for any question, any comments?
Ma'am Len, perhaps we would like to present our proposal as well.
Okay.
Because the action items for our access branded co-ops regarding action number 2, in which they will have to send their interim financial statements, can we also add that they also submit their self-rating for all the perspectives, not just the financial perspectives, in order for us also to identify, because there might be indicators of the other perspectives that really gets affected because of COVID. What we've seen are in the member customer perspective, like the access and convenience. Since we can no longer do extended working hours, we can no longer do mobile tellers, then perhaps based on the actual situation and information from these accredited co-ops, we can also identify on the part of our technical team on what will be the negotiable and non-negotiable parameters, because there will really be some impact with regards to the other indicators. And the other also proposal that we would like to have on the side of the audit, if we can also look into automating our self-rating tool so that all access branded co-ops can just fill in a certain site wherein they can already fill in their self-rating, and then ACU as well as the auditors can already view online on what are their self-rating and what are their comments. The second one is also automating our auditor's tool or our working file, so that again, instead of us sending the Excel file to ACU, it will already be viewed anytime regarding how we are trying to evaluate the co-ops. The third one is if we can also have the possibility of enhancing our access tool wherein digital platform will already be considered. Because our tool, which was crafted years ago, we have not yet foreseen of the digital means of giving access and convenience to our members. Perhaps we can already, it's about time that we also have to enhance our access tool. The fourth one is that if also on the side of the technical core group for the auditors, if we can also have our business continuity plan, wherein we will identify what are the audit process that can be blended in terms of off-site process and on-site validation. Because we are not really sure until when this pandemic will end. Perhaps by 2021, we are still not yet sure if there is already a vaccine to cure and prevent. So we ready ourselves also on what will be the blended audit processes wherein it can be done on-site and which can be done off-site. So those are the our proposals on the side of NATCO and how we can still continually work on our access branding.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Sharon. No problem, because all the perspective, yes, they can submit all the perspective. On the automation, can you remember I think number 5, ACU has already a tool on our website, and you can use that to upload the self-rating of the credit unions. It's actually intended for self-rating. So you can already use that. There is no need to reinvent. Only that you mentioned about the automation of the working files, that we do not have. Okay, for the auditors. Digital, yes, no problem. We will we will review the tool to include the digital channels for the delivery of services. But I think let me see whether we can apply this in this audit. And then, yes, no problem. Definitely, we'll have to look at how the evaluation of the access auditing will have to be done. There is no problem with the offsite, looking at the offsite and on-site evaluation. And I think we need to study that, and we need to make sure that you can justify the offsite and has to be substantiated with enough evidence for the auditors to create a very an objective judgment for the co-ops. Yes, Kunanjit. I think Kunanjit would like to share.
Okay, Sharon, how are you? Thank you so much bringing, I think it's all a complimentary what she has explained. When we did not probably explain, we talked about the financial perspective. That is why my first presentation, I said we could not able to downgrade because it has 4 perspective, everything's affected. When you say you are submitting for your self-evaluation, definitely we will have to look into all the other 3 perspectives also. So you have to submit. So, but has to be more genuinely looking that time, because earlier you were graded because you have a system and proceedings to continue as with the highest standard. But due to certain limitation of the external environment created due to the health condition and due to the government regulation, you are not able to deliver it. So at that time, so you have to rate existing situation. But when it comes to your technical auditing people, we understand, so the situation we will not able. That is why we need a quarterly basis to upload the data. We can see how its improvements is coming. So I think that will not be an issue, but I'm sure our national federation has a one staff who's coaching and guiding for that. So they have a remote communication with them. Is only be the auditing will be only once a year, not every time. So then they will able to have a genuine communication with them to understand the reality. So I think we have to, because we have set all the policy proceeding has been in place. It's a matter of we deviate the implementation due to different external reason, not the internal. I assume not the internal reason. So I think that's the situation. We will give our site to each officers. You can also review the same site. They don't need to have a different another platform, because they may get you to upload the data for our site. We can review, we can give to the same password, or you can create your own password. You can review all the data. So then there will be no double paper submitting to the federation one time, at one time. So we can review all the data. I think that's what Sharon is suggesting. I think that is what I said is a complementary basis. We do not have a separate like a counter proposal. I think we are all in the same line of thinking. Thank you so much, Sharon.
Is there any other?
One more. Have you tried any? This is not only Access branded credit union, Access process credit union also can use this platform. So that will be once you enter, you can see comparison with the other countries. It has a community that you can able to do the benchmarking. That is the one word, benchmarking with the other people. So maybe I will request to everyone to use it, the platform. Very simple. You have to create an account for credit union, and then you can have the user. Again, if somebody has already created the account, many users can go to the same account. But we need to have it's not auto activated. It will be reviewed by ACU, our side. We need to know that genuine people are getting to site. So we will approve. If you have some question, we will ask Sharon or maybe PFCC or Mr. Eran to clarify, then we will approve. If not, if you know the person, we approve by our side, the day by day, Mr. Kamon is approving all the accounts. Thank you. Kulani, please.
Yes. Is everybody clear about the accreditation? So I have explained what are the requirements needed for the accreditation. We will continue with the accreditation until 2021, provided that they will have to submit those documentations that we have requested. It's not only because of the access accreditation. This is the right thing to do. Because if you are not going to identify the loan portfolio that has been affected and then identify the mitigation measures, we are not helping the members to recover and to bounce back. So that is actually the reason why we are requesting this from our access ACOs. So
one more time, this initiative not necessary only for Access Bank. I think it's a common for all the SACCOs. It's the NATCO and PFCCO technical team. I think each SACCO's first thing to do that, they have to look at very seriously their portfolio review. I think it is a common to every cooperative. You can use this tool and you can create your technical teams, a guideline to all the network. I think that should be the first steps credit union should start before you jump in to grant the new loan and look at the existing your portfolio, how seriously affected due to the COVID-19. Thank you.
Yeah, the reason why we talk about this is just for the simple concept. You know, the foundation of your cooperative are the members. So even if, you talk a lot of things on how to protect your institution, protect the members first before protecting your institution, because you can talk many things about technical thing about your financial statements, but those financial statements is a reflection of what is happening to your members. So the wise thing to do is to care for the members first, and then it will return back. It will return back and to your balance sheet. Yeah. We are willing, if you need the technical assistance for the preparation of business continuity plan, I'm sure that NATCO is doing it for your members. But if there is a need, don't hesitate to let us know. Okay, does it mean everything is clear? Does it mean everything is clear? So then we can, okay. So thank you very much, Dan, for participating in today's meeting. Please let us know what other things ACU can help you with. ACU is your organization, and so we are here to serve you. Thank you so much, and be safe, and have a nice day, everyone.